Hey everybody on the team, or the team that is to be. Just wanted to send you a video message to explain a few things. Sometimes it's easier just to watch than read. First of all, flights. Okay, so if we're going to get a group price and hold it at a group rate, we need a minimum of 10 people, and they will hold the flights for $100 with the balance to be paid at a later date. Advantages to this. First of all, knowing for sure that we're getting a good price and we're getting everybody on the same route. Disadvantages we need to know now, basically, so that we can get that rate and that route. The other option is if we have less than 10 people or we're unsure, then we hold off on doing anything with flights until we have the full amount for the flights. And then we just book them online like we would normally. We can book up to 9 people online together, and possibly more than that if we end up with more than 10 people down the line. So basically, we need a commitment from people. If you have not yet committed, and the reason that you are hesitating to commit is financial, I have some words for you. First of all, I'll give you a little story. The first time Phil felt called to go on a mission trip was in 2004, and Luke was just about, he was a baby almost a year, and he felt called. We both felt, when they mentioned the trip to Guatemala, we felt that little thump, 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 that little stirring in our heart that this was something he should participate in. However, we had just had a baby. He had just started a new business. We were unsure about finances, and so finances and the timing, because of me having a little baby at home. Decided not to go. Fully felt called. Decided not to go. Afterwards, we were talking to Justin Corsier, who was going on the trip, and he asked if Phil was going to go, and Phil said, "Yeah, no, I'm not going because I just started my business, and financially, I'm just not sure, and I don't want to leave Jen at home with the baby." And Jess just said very simply, "Oh, yeah, if I feel like God's calling me to do something, I just trust He's going to provide what I need." So it was kind of an aha moment for us because we were still early in our Christian walk. And so the next time they were having a team go to Guatemala, we had 2 babies. One was almost 2, the other one was just a few months old, and Phil still was self-employed, and I was not employed. So finances were still tight. But this time, when he felt that stirring, we were like, you know what? We're just going to say you're going, and we're going to trust that God is going to provide. So Gary Best, who was the former national leader of the Vineyard, he has an analogy that I really like. He describes a big swimming pool with a diving board. He said that trusting God is jumping off of that diving board, even though the swimming pool is empty at the time that you jump off, and trusting that God is going to put the water in the pool before you smash yourself on the concrete. So, how do we apply that analogy to coming on a team? If when they announced the team in the service, you felt that stirring, you felt that little, something that God was nudging you, what you have to ask yourself is, if God is calling me into something, do I really believe that He is going to let me fall into the empty concrete pool? Probably not. In fact, I'm going to say no, He's not. Obviously, you have to really check with yourself and make sure that it is God that's nudging you, that it's not just a fleshly desire to come because it sounds cool and it sounds fun. If it really is God stirring your heart to come to Brazil, He's going to provide in one way or another, whether it be through personal sponsorship, whether it be through checks in the mail that you weren't expecting. Count on God to come through for you. We have witnessed this, countless times in this whole missionary walk. I mean, now that's what our lives are, is depending on God to provide. But what we see time and time again is that when we hesitate and when we hold back because we're afraid that maybe the resources won't be there to do what we feel God calling us to do, guess what? The resources don't come. The resources only come when we start actually walking in the direction that God wants us to walk. So that means if you're feeling stirred, give your commitment that you are going to come on this team and trust that God's going to provide the funding to get here. It sounds simple, but I know in practice it's hard. It's all about, faith is, what does Scott always say? How do you spell faith? R-I-S-K. Yeah, it's a risk. It's a risk, but I think it's a risk that has a huge payoff. The other thing I wanted to talk about, was your fundraising and how you go about fundraising for you personally and tax receipts. So XMC Canada has agreed that they can issue tax receipts for your trip cost, which is why I've quoted a trip cost of $2,300. Flight prices they fluctuate sometimes by the minute. I know approximately how much this should cost. I have added into our trip cost a bit of a buffer just in case prices do jump up. If we book tickets about 2 to 3 months before the trip, if we have less than 10 people and we decide to go that route, we will still be okay in terms of flight prices and flight routes. We often don't book our tickets until a month or 2 months before we go. The thing that changes is the route down. 3 months before, really, we should still be able to get a route that involves only 3 flights and that is a good price. So, start jumping off your diving board. And what does that look like? You can write letters, you can make videos, you can do whatever you need to do to reach out to the people that you already have a relationship with. Don't do a blanket letter or something to the entire church, because that just overwhelms people. And it also it's not really, it's kind of tacky to send it to everybody, because if you don't have a relationship with someone, it's just not a good thing to do. So, write up a letter and then pray about, okay, God, who do I give these letters to? Sit with maybe a list of your friends and your family and just say, God, whose heart are you preparing to help me do what you're asking me to do? And then send the letters to those people and see what happens. There's also a little something that sometimes happens in our lives called God math, where if you're self-employed, like Phil was, the numbers don't make sense, but they somehow work out. The bill still got paid. We still had food in the fridge. We didn't default on anything. We were fine. And yet our expenditures were much more than they normally would be because of the trip. Ask God specifically for what you need. God, I need this much money in order to make these flights happen. And this is the deadline. Praying specifically, I have found, is so incredibly effective. It's like a bing, like, why haven't I been doing that all my life? When we had to come back to Canada in 2013 because of my father's illness, I prayed very specifically. I said, God, I'm a mess and I can't think of the details. We need a place to stay that is either cheap or free. We would love for there to be lots of outside space for our kids to play because they are full of energy. We need a car, and we need a car that's economical because we're going to have to do a lot of driving back and forth to see my dad. I had a list of requests, and it sounds like needy or I don't want to sound like a spoiled kid, but by laying out specifically what we needed, I had a checklist that afterwards I could look back and say, God provided all of those things specifically the way I had specifically prayed. So specifically pray for your needs. Okay? So, first of all, jump off the diving board, even though the pool is empty right now. Okay? And trust that God's going to put that water in there. If He's calling you into this, He's not going to let you smash on the pavement. Pray about who to ask to help support you in this adventure. Pray specifically to God for your needs. Let Him know what you need. And start meeting as a team. Start meeting as a team as though you are coming down, and just start taking those steps. Start praying for each other. Maybe have the team that's thinking about going, if the church would be willing, have you guys come up to the front so that everybody in the church can pray over you guys and pray for provision. Pray for pray for your needs to be met in order for this to happen. We're super excited about a team coming down here, because we can send you pictures and videos of everything that's going down here, and I can write blogs till the cows come home. But it's nothing is the same as coming down here and experiencing it for yourself. Ask anybody who's ever been on a mission trip, and they will tell you that it was life-changing. It's life-changing to come and see and taste and smell and touch everything that is going on here. And there's often the argument of, well, should we send teams or should we just send the money? Yeah, the money is great. We can build buildings, we can do lots of programs, and we always need the money. But God's going to provide the money where we need it. And as Rick says, you know, if you send your money, I have your money. If you send your people, I have your hearts. And those hearts are people that are going to continue to pray, continue to be involved in what God's doing down here in Maraba. Anyway, enough of my rattling on. I just wanted to be able to actually be there as much as I can to talk to you guys about this. We're so excited. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I will continue to be in contact with Deb. So go to her with all your concerns or questions or anything like that. I know a few of you have never been on a mission team before, so I'm super excited for you to have this experience. We have lots of fun stuff planned for you guys while you're down here. And I guess that's about it for now. So have a great meeting. Love to you all. And look forward to seeing your faces down here in Maraba. Jump off the diving board.